This video is made for adult collectors because I bashed my heel on the way downstairs to record this and it still really hurts. So apparently I like to torture myself because I decided to buy this. Why did I buy this? It doesn't even want to stay together. How do you make this thing stay together? I don't get it. Everything wants to come apart. Nothing wants to stay in place. I have no words. When you think of a Veyron and Transformers, you think of Drift from Age of Extinction, but there was another Bugatti Veyron deluxe figure before that, and to me it's way cooler. Cybertron gave us the crosswise mold and they turned it into this. Smokescreen. This was a figure that's been on my mind to get for years now, but I always kind of shoved it to the back till I saw it in this massive ass pile at Comic Alley, not sponsored. I'll start in car mode because yeah, it's a stylized, legally distinct Bugatti Veyron, but it looks nice. I spelled nice with an O. How did I do? Whatever. I've never been the biggest fan of the look of the Veyron, but I do like the liberties taken here with the segmented grille, the slightly shorter nose, and the longer back end, with the large ass spoiler that can be removed if you like that cleaner look. I really like this shade of blue they got going on the side of the car with that white stripe that breaks it up from the red. It is a Cybertron toy, so it feels great. Everything sits quite well and taps together in a very neat way. He's supposed to have a missile that looks like a rocket, but also just kind of looks like a poo hanging out the back, but it wasn't in that massive pile. He does have a cyber key gimmick though. Putting the cyber key up his ass launches out this missile that spins so friggin' fast. It's like one frame, bam. I tried capturing it in slow motion on my phone, but even that couldn't like get it right. I do like this cyber key gimmick though. It feels unobtrusive and fun. The transformation of this thing feels like if they were to take an RID 2001 transformation design and just sort of make it more fluid and less messy. This feels a bit like Sideburn and Prowl from RID 01, but as a Cybertron toy, so it's not as fiddly. There are some fiddly bits, especially back here, but like it's still pretty fun to do. First thing we'll do is take this off because that is his gun. I honestly kind of like the way this looks without the massive spoiler too. It's sort of smooth back here. I like that. What we're gonna do next is take the legs out. So you pull the wheels from either side while crushing the doors. Don't do that. Pull the legs and the hip section all the way down, and then we'll just fold out the feet. They don't really have a natural stopping point, so, and I'll get to this loose heel in a minute. That causes a lot of problems, but we get all of that out. Then you want to come to the doors here and just sort of like pop them out of their tabs and get this front hood section out and down. Fold the head up, rotate that 180 degrees, and just leave it there. Next thing we're gonna do is take these back sections here and bring them out, and they will come right off. That's a problem. So they shift, right? But these hinges are kind of stiff on my copy, so this pops out a lot. Come on, get back in. But you wanna take these and just sort of bring them out and shift it forward. Come on, unpeg. Shift it forward, and then rotate them up and out of the way. Then we'll take the arms and bring them out and rotate them down on their shoulders, get this waist section, and now we can peg this in. It's going to peg into crotch and into itself. So you get all that sorted and that keeps that into place. And we take the arm here and you rotate it around. You bring the door around as well. I like to leave this right here because it acts as sort of like a shield thing, but you can leave it folded like this if you would like, but I'm just gonna keep it there. Do that again on this side. Get all that rotated around. Then you take these bits here, you bring them up, and we're just gonna straighten him out. His heel's folded away. And there you have, almost called him crosswise, there you have Smokescreen. It's very fun to do other than this stuff back here, and I kind of wish it had a more graceful way to store other than just sticking straight up. I wish these folded in on themselves or something, but he is a wide boy, a very wide boy, but I dig it. Again, he looks like he came straight out of like RID 01 with those back spike bits, door shoulders, and shield arm, even though he's Cybertron. It really screams Sideburn to me. His legs are kind of on the skinny tubular side, and his feet are weird. So they fold up for transformation, but one of them is really loose, and because of all this stuff hanging off his back, you can kind of fill in the blank as to what's gonna happen. Yes, he falls a lot on my copy, and it isn't as simple as tightening the screw because that didn't work for me, so I'll have to pull the entire leg apart to fix it. I do like the head sculpt, even if the head is a bit on the small side. There is a lot going on with like the blue visor and the yellow stripe and the silver face. I also have always liked door shoulders, so this just works for me. The shield also doesn't really get in the way of anything for the most part and sits pretty close to the arm to be like out of the way. He can hold his spoiler gun, which in this configuration, it looks a bit stupid. It would probably look better with the missile in it, but again, I don't have it. And the cyber key gimmick still works here, which is great. These spiky bits on his back can rotate downward and around the hip to be like, I guess guns if you want them to do that. I do wish they compressed a bit more into his back though, because they are a wee bit unsightly when they're up, just sticking straight up. Being a Cybertron toy though, he actually has a pretty good amount of articulation this time. However, at usable articulation, he's a bit awkward. So Cybertron had picked up the slack in its articulation from the last two Unicron trilogy like entries, because Armada, this, and then Energon was sort of articulated, but not really. And then Cybertron, they just kind of went hog wild on most of it. So the head can rotate, it can do a full 360 degrees, and it can look up because of the little hinge it's on. And it can sort of look down, like ever so slightly, but I don't know if I'd really count that. But you do get rotation and up and down, which is nice. These shoulders, they are on ball joints, so they can do a full 360 degrees, and they can go out that far. When you move them forward like this, they do bump into these things, but you can move that out of the way because that's on a ball joint. Or you can rotate the doors around because they're also on a ball joint. Now, it is a clear plastic ball joint, and it is an old clear plastic ball joint, so that does worry me slightly, but this is really thick, so I don't see that breaking anytime soon. The elbows are on ball joints as well, so you get a little bit over 90 degrees of bend, and then you have a bicep rotation because of that. Nothing at the wrists, unfortunately. Nothing at the waist due to how all of this transforms. Like, this entire assembly relies on locking into the crotch, so that's not going anywhere. The hips are on ball joints too. They can go forward all the way. They can go back a little bit. They can go out. You do have a ball joint at the knee, so that does allow you to have a thigh rotation and 90 degrees of bend at the knee. And then the toes and the heels can move. You can kind of simulate a foot going forward with something like this, but this one, again, this one's just too loose to be able to do that. And this hip is also a little bit looser than I would like, but I can fix that. Now, if you want to sort of give them like an alternate look, you can rotate these 180 degrees, but I find that when you do that, it slightly presses up on them because there's a little nub in there that's meant to like lock them in place on this side. And so I don't know if that's a good idea to keep rotating. What is plastic stuck in here? I don't know if that's a good idea to be rotating that constantly because you could stress this part out, but he's pretty neat to pose. However, I find it like kind of hard to get him to look good in anything because he's just built so awkwardly. Like you can sort of, oh, hey, we're gonna get him into a position where he's like firing his gun out, and we gotta move the shoulder pad down, get the arm out. We're going to then get his gun, put it in his hand, and he just always looks a little bit awkward just because of the way that his upper body is structured. I don't know, it's just weird. He's just a weird dude. He doesn't look dynamic, but he can articulate. I do like this mold. I have my issues with it, but it is still a nicer Veyron toy to me than that old Drift from Age of Extinction. That old Drift was very like futzy and fiddly and weird. The Jazz Deco looks nice, but fat chance of me ever getting that because BotCon's shattered glass stuff is just really expensive. I'd recommend this figure if you like the Veyron and Cybertron. It is pretty fun. But that's my look at Cybertron Smokescreen. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.